I really am a strong advocate for some historical recording of how we all got started and the bumps in the road and the successful and failures that have occurred, which should be reckoned with. Weavers Way was established, I think it was 1973. My one sister, Madeline Morris, became the first membership coordinator of Weavers Way. She recommended me to the board when they were looking for new members, and they were looking for an African American. And when I look back at those early years, we were brazen, we were working very hard, we wanted this to succeed, and many of us did not know what a co-op really was. The largest percentage of participants were white families. There were very few African American members. After school, when school was out, one of the Weavers Way staff stood at the door of Weavers Way and asked each child, "Are your parents members of Weavers Way?" And if the child answered yes, they were allowed in. If the child said no, they were stopped at the door. Two parents, one was my sister, her son Stacy. He came home from school one day and said, "Mom, they won't let the black kids come into the co-op." How can a 10-year-old get that conception that because he's black, he can't go into a store? We could not let that school, our neighbor across the street, think for 1 second that we were discriminating against anyone, let alone how it was so obvious to these two Henry School children. So that's where Marketplace got started. And also the awakening of the need for us at Weavers Way to reckon with this problem of this lack of African American membership. We met with the teachers, a group of teachers, as well as the principal. The teachers helped us set it up. The aim was to have all the children contribute to this Marketplace Day. So the things that these children were trained on are cooperative ideals and nutritious purchasing. They decided on what they wanted to purchase. They made the purchases. They balanced their money. They did their inventory. And whatever was left was theirs to decide to spend and where. And I remember the first year they decided to spend the money that was made on the heifer project, which was going on at the time in South America. So the money that they had made that first year went to such a worthy cause. We were so busy micromanaging the store itself that we were not making policy. We were not guiding into how we should continue to develop. It's joyful to me to see over the years how the neighborhood has welcomed all minorities, the LGBT community, anyone is welcome here in Westtown area, which is the reason it has remained, I think, as diverse as it has. And we have to continue to watch to be sure that is maintained.
Cooperation is something that folks have been doing since the beginning of time. It's nothing new, but I think in Philly, what is special about us is that among the co-ops, particularly the grocery co-ops, there really isn't any competition. We work together to really strengthen this movement to keep the dollars in the local economy.
It's not about an individual, it's about the wielding of democratic power, I think is what co-ops are about. It's about building political strength through economic democracy.
what you get by participating in cooperatives is some sense of how it's mutually beneficial when you are involved in an economic project with other people. Frantz Fanon, the Caribbean internationalist revolutionary, he talks about disalienation. Work and everything else in our society is one of alienation. What does it look like to come to the other side and be reconnected with people, knowing that we start by being distanced and alienated in different ways from them, and what it means to rekindle connection and community to other people. In other words, reorganizing our social relationships. I mean, in my case, the general manager of my local food co-op sends their kid to the same preschool as my kid, and I like see them at drop off at, so that's disalienation, that we're coming together and we have a sense of what else is going on in your life, your economic life. What is your livelihood? We're connecting because we're at the same playground, or our kids are at the same school, or I go into that store and I see the products that my friends who are farmers, who are local farmers, it's on the shelves there. A worker co-op is just a business that's owned and operated by the people who work there. The people who work there are usually happy, and if they're not happy, they are empowered to like say something and change it.
I remember coming to home care. It was just an office, not this big. It was just a little office in the lower room, everybody sweating, but we was doing our class. But look at us now. I've been here about 26 years. I choose not to go to another company, you know, even though it's $1, $2 more, but you don't get that respect.
I've had like changes that may have happened in my life, and I was able to come to home care and explain like, this is what's going on, and you know, can you work with me? And they will always work with me. When you find a job that you can work for, that works with you, you have a tendency to stick around.
Being a worker owner here gave us a voice. That tells us, hey, you are part of the team. I've been on the board ever since I was here. The board shows you a lot, but it gives us a voice. Not saying that, hey, A's on the outside, office staff, it's a team.
When you become a worker owner and you start to learn more of what's going on, and me myself too, I ran for the board and sit on the board. You learn more. You have both. You can see things from both ways. Quite a few of us went from welfare to work. So our strength and our bond is knowing where we came from and where we don't want to go back to, and motivating each other. You know, we speak to each other, we hug each other. That's why today that I'm sticking with home care, cooperative. I love when we go out and march. Like we're gonna get there. We're gonna be here forever. Maybe not in body and spirit, but the name. Yeah, home care. Yeah.
It's gonna be here forever. We're gonna be here forever because somebody gonna need somebody. I would love one day to hear somebody say, "Hey, your mom, your grandma used to be an owner here," and keep the legacy going on.
You can actually take the instrument, the apparatus of our political economy that's shaped around businesses ultimately, and move it toward things that are regenerative and liberatory. This is about the power that we're building and a North Star of collective liberation and multiracial organizing and dealing with legacies of systems of oppression in our world.